So then,
Oh,
let's
okay,
go
okay.
back down. So then that's
So,
probably what you're gonna have to do. Literally pull it from YouTube and then bring it back down to edit it.
oh, so it is live right now?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
on
I
my
see.
screen. I see a little, yeah, a little countdown or whatever.
Ah,
Hmm.
so, oh, so this is the
Oh, I
countdown
wonder
too.
if I could see it.
Oh, it's live now. Okay.
Can you
Oh
like
well.
see it from your phone or something like that? Let me see.
Oh no, I don't need. I'm good. Let's go, man. I don't need to see that. I'm good.
All right. I just wanted to
I mean, ain't worry about that. All right, so I'm gonna still do my little intro. You know what I mean? So,
definitely.
and then yeah, yeah. So, boom, we in the gym. Welcome to EJ's gym. A guide to elevate your mindset.
Hmm.
Yo, what's good, little bro? Richie Rich, what's
What's
good,
going
man?
on? What's going on today? How we doing?
Hey, we good, we good, we good. Let's clap it up for little bro.
Better.
All right, yeah, and we want to check out this video and go ahead and tell me about. We was talking about before we went live about ego and what were you saying about ego?
Yeah, definitely. It was the video. If you want me to go ahead and explain the video, it
Go
was
ahead.
a video between Kevin Durant and Draymond Green, and they were
Hmm.
talking about kind of some of their issues that they had, and well, they were issues before, but obviously it seems like they resolved them now. Just when Kevin Durant left the team, and they ended up having an argument. And something I asked you off the tail end of that, because it's two guys that are at the top of their game, was how do you think ego plays into mindset? Do you think
Mm,
it's necessary? Do you think it's pivotal? Because some people say you need your ego. Like I was saying to you, your ego kind of feeds your confidence. But at the
mm,
same time, too, we both were saying that some people have said that there's a philosophy where you need to let your ego behind, leave your ego behind.
hmm.
It'll help you make better decisions. So just wanted to get your standpoint on how you felt about that in relationship to the video as well.
Okay. All right. So we should we just check out the video first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I don't know if you want to get to a certain portion of it or
Oh,
just
I'll just play it. I'll just play it from the top.
for sure.
All right.
Is it not screen sharing?
Not yet.
Hey, what's up, man? I appreciate you coming on. Hey, what's up, man? I appreciate you coming on. It's my show, Chips. Obviously, it stems from exploring that chip on your shoulder, what drives us and makes us who we are and why we here today. So thank you. No doubt, man. Thanks for having me, bro. So take me on the journey. Coach Brown, your first coach. How was that and what did he teach you? He taught me the fundamentals. I mean, it felt like fundamentals of the game, but it was like truly fundamentals of life. What it's going to take for me to survive as a human being, a maturing human being. He put this game in front of me, told me the fundamentals of it, the balance of the game, the history of it. I just started to understand that for one, but also started to see life a little bit clearer too. It was one of those special times in my life that I always revert back to. You hear the cliche saying of everything you do at game speed. To me, that is the most cliche statement in the world. Yeah. Except for when it comes to you, you actually do every rep game speed. Does that come from him or does that come from somewhere else? Yeah, he built the foundation. And the cliches, I mean, I am cliche. I'm simple.
Hold on.
It was
Can you hear me? You said what now?
Yeah, I was gonna say I was hearing the video.
You heard the video? Could you see the video?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gotta switch the thing back. All right, let me play the video.
I had the live stream right here. Just wanted to see how behind it was. So, but
Is it?
it is live right now online. So that's cool.
All right, we'll watch it.
But fishing up to the point, that's what my game is so much. I just want to take on every action of you.
Oh, it has
Statement in the world.
the chapters too, so you can see the different.
Huh?
It looks like it.
On the journey,
It
Coach
has
Brown.
the video itself. It has the chapters. You can see the different
Exploring.
portions that they talk, like the topics that they talk about.
Hmm. Let's talk. Let's click this.
Right there, right there. Oh, it's a waste
Yeah,
of money.
definitely this clip.
To friends and family. And for my own personal sanity, I've been getting my ass kicked ever since you left. So just for my own personal sanity, how much did our argument against the Clippers drive you to ultimately lead the Warriors? It wasn't an argument. It was the way that everybody, Steve Kerr, act like it didn't happen. Bob Myers and tried to just discipline you and think that that would put the mask over everything. I really felt like that was such a big situation for us as a group. The first time we went through something like that, we had to get that shit all out. I remember watching The Last Dance, and when Scotty didn't go into the game, the whole team in the locker room said, Scotty, that was fucked up that you did that. We needed that. We just needed to throw all of that shit out on the table and say, yo, Dre,
For sure.
okay, like that was fucked up that we even had to go through that. Let's just wipe our hands with that and go finish the task. I don't think we did that. We tried to dance around it. I just didn't like how all of that, just the vibe between all of that, it just made shit weird to me. And I'd rather us be who we say we are, family first. Communication is key. Like we didn't show that, and that's what rubbed me the wrong way more than anything. When we landed back from LA, I sat in the Hazel was sitting in the car for an hour and 45 minutes. They pulled me in their room at Signature for an hour and 45 minutes, and they tried to tell me, you need to apologize. And I told them, I'll talk to Kay, but y'all aren't going to tell me what I need to say. Mm-hmm. And, they went on for an hour and 45 minutes talking, saying a bunch of bullshit. And ultimately, they realized, all right, we're not getting through to him. We're going to try again in the morning. And so we met the next morning, and they said, all right, you slept on it. You ready to apologize? And I told them right then and there, I said, y'all about to fuck this up. I said, the only person that can make this right is me and Kay. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing that y'all can do, and y'all are going to fuck this up. And in my opinion, they fucked it up. I think so too. And they told me right then and there, like, we're going to suspend you for this game. I laughed in their face, literally laughed in their face. And Bob said to me, he said, wow, that was not the reaction I was looking for or expecting. And I said, well, either I'm going to laugh in your face or I'm going to cuss you the fuck out. So you pick, I'm going to choose laugh. So I think what you're doing is funny, and so I'm going to laugh. And so it's interesting to hear you say essentially the same thing that I told them that day.
Yo.
You might be shocked to learn you can save up to 50% on ink with Instant Ink.
Yeah, so that clip right there was a good little. That was like right when they got to the meat and potatoes of the whole situation. So yeah,
So like, okay, so what do you think about that situation?
I think it's funny how you went back and mentioned the thing about Scottie Pippen in the
Hmm.
Last Dance where he ended up sitting that game, and that was
Yeah.
because his ego. I remember like he felt like he should have gotten a play drawn up for him. and stuff like that. And it was almost like how we saying before, almost with Draymond, kind of the same situation with him holding the
Right.
ball and that instance that they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just found that kind of interesting as well too.
Hmm. Yeah. So like the whole thing is like with same thing like what you said about ego. It's the transition, and sometimes in life I think you have to learn how to let go, and that's the whole thing of what the ego, because sometimes you're not the same person, you're not the same player. Not saying Draymond in the situation. Let's say for instance I can use a player like Cam Newton right now. He's going through a transition. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a certain time where you have to understand like, okay, I'm not that same guy anymore. I'm not that same player that people, because people say, he's a little older with a little injuries and stuff like that. So the whole thing is now I have to let go of my ego, and I might have to change something about my game because I can't be that same running quarterback. You know what I mean? So Draymond in his situation with Kevin Durant, it was always, Steph Curry and Clay Thompson, and
Right.
they would defer to him, pushing the ball like that.
Right.
But guess what? Kevin Durant is not, is on your team now. You know what I mean? So it's a little different. So Draymond's
Mm,
ego got in the way, and in life, sometimes you have to learn how to transition, right? And
right.
let that old person go, that ego, because that ego is not you. You're a transitioning being. You know what I mean? Okay, this KD, he's the man. Let me just go ahead and give it to him. Go out,
Mm-hmm.
get to my spot and space the floor. KD, do your thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think that's why I mean, they're men. We go through life, you're gonna make a mistake. Your ego is gonna get in the way. But I think he realized, like, damn, I fucked up. I need to, I need to apologize my way, to Kevin Durant. That's the only way. We need to have conversation and come to
Mm-hmm.
agreement as men. I don't need a mediator or somebody in between. You know what I mean? So I think he realized that, and that's what him letting go his ego, and which is why they probably did that interview.
Right. And I
Right.
think in a moment like that too, you kind of like he took a hit to his ego, almost like in the sense that he assumed that that was his role, and
Right.
in that moment he kind of, I mean, after the fact, obviously after talking to management and stuff like that, you kind of get humbled, and to be able to bounce back from that, I think takes a lot of fortitude, a lot of mental strength, like you said. Like it goes back
Yeah.
to that at the end of
Uh,
the day, because yeah, you definitely, I think if he was not a glue guy on that team, like he definitely could have been moved or something like that if the situation didn't play in his favor. But
uh-huh.
obviously on that team in particular, he's like a very important guy, you
Mhm.
know. So you gotta take that hit, damn near, it seems like, because he,
Yeah.
he was thinking, okay, this is my time to get it, and I'll distribute the ball. But that wasn't the case, apparently, and everybody else was thinking that wasn't the case either.
Hey man, I just always say when it comes to ego, if you don't know learn how to swallow your pride and let that go, life will teach you. You know what I mean? And it's just like what you said about the Scottie Pippen situation. From his perspective, he was like, "Okay, this is me. This is my team. Why
Mm-hmm.
drawing up plays for this other guy? I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going in." And immediately, and it's so funny how times have changed, right? If you just look
Mm-hmm.
at that situation, which was probably what, a couple of decades ago, compared
Right.
to
Right.
this situation where Scotty went back to the locker room, his teammates was like, "Nah, dude, nah, we not having that." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And in Golden State, which is this time, people, like, a little different. They kind of beating around the bush. Nobody really want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's so crazy how
Just
the
try to.
times have changed between how men interact with each other. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're
Mm.
on a team, it's like a brotherhood. So you
Right.
don't you don't lie to each other. You tell each other the truth. That's how you learn to let go of your ego. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
if your environment, is not of that, if we're not nurturing that for men or even in team sports anymore, then what's going on?
So you want it to be like malleable. You don't want it to be too rigid, because sometimes then maybe it takes somebody to tell you about yourself, for you to be humbled and for you to realize, okay, maybe this is not actually reality. Because like I was saying, when you talk about mindset a lot and how it's important to stay keyed in on your mindset, and maybe your ego is going to drive you towards success because you believe in yourself and what you're going to do, but
Hmm.
maybe the direction you're taking is a little bit off, so it takes somebody else to kind of help correct you in that direction, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, from my life is, it was my dad. He was always there to kind of help, my perspective, or, because there's certain things you're just not gonna see and understand as a teenager, as a kid. You know what I mean? So I had him there to kind of help me, and was always honest with me, like telling me something that I didn't really want to hear or
Mm-hmm.
do, but it was in my best interest. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
and I think it's important to, like, because when I was playing ball, um, that's what we did. I mean, your teammates keep you accountable. Of course, you're gonna have some bad apples or whatever you want to call them, but your teammates will keep you accountable. Meaning, like, if you did some dumb shit, they be like, "Dude, that was stupid."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, like, not
that's a
saying, like,
fact
I
of
don't know the
team.
dynamics of the team, or we can matter of fact, I don't know, we can look more into the interview. I was kinda glancing over at it to
Mm-hmm.
see if they had any other more parts, but everything else is like 31 seconds, and then they talk
Oh, they
about,
cut it real small.
um can you I'm not sharing right now, so you can't see his burner Twitter, um
And I think at the beginning, when they were talking about, I guess when they were talking about, like, he was asking him about his work ethic and stuff like that, and I think that plays a part of it as well, just from like an ego and mindset standpoint, because obviously
Okay.
he is KD, so he's one of the
Right.
greatest. All right, so
Alright,
it
so let's
takes.
let's look at it. Let's do this. Let's look at, like, the first 5 minutes. Not well,
Hmm.
let's say if we catch if I see a point or something, I'll pause it, but
Yeah, definitely.
I have to flip
That's
through the microphone so you can hear it before I
okay.
share it. So it's
Oh,
a
okay.
little, it's the same, but alright. Alright. Let's see.
Hey, what's up, man? I appreciate you coming on to my show, Chips. Obviously, it stems from exploring that chip on your shoulder, what drives us and makes us who we are and why we're here today. So thank you. No doubt, man. Thanks for having me, bro. So take me on the journey. Coach Brown, your first coach. How was that and what did he teach you? He taught me fundamentals. I mean, it felt like fundamentals of the game, but it was like truly fundamentals of life. What it's going to take for me to survive as a human being, a maturing human being. He put this game in front of me, told me the fundamentals of it, the balance of the game,
We
the
gotta get
history of it.
so.
I just started to understand that for one, but also start to see life a little bit clearer too. It was one of those special times in my life that I always revert back to. You hear the cliche saying of everything you do at game speed. To me, that is the most cliche statement in the world. Yeah. Except for when it comes to you, you actually do every rep game speed. Does that come from him or does that come from somewhere else? Yeah, he built the foundation. And the cliche stuff, I mean, I am cliche. I'm simple, I'm efficient, I'm to the point. That's what my game is. And all the best stuff to me is cliche. So I just tried to approach every workout like a game, every game like a workout. And then you go to high school and you went to several different high schools. Yeah. How did you feel about that then? And looking back on that, how do you feel about it now? So back then, I didn't know it was any different. I was listening to my Coach Brown, my mom, my pops. Like this was where the best competition was. So I would switch schools every year to move up a level. People have tried to make that connection of you being at several different high schools to now you being on 3 different teams. What do you say to that or those people? Yeah, I mean, I feel as though at each spot, even in high school, my game was growing so fast. I need to be in a different environment to see how far I can go. And why Texas? In my opinion, Texas is a
I was looking for you to stop at that point too. He definitely, when he touched on changing environments and
Yes.
upping his skill level. Nah,
Yes, yes,
I don't
yes,
remember
yes.
that from when I watched it before, but that's a great piece.
Right. So that's the thing, you know what I mean? And you know, it's funny how people don't realize, I guess, we call it fan fanatic,
Hmm.
that these guys are just actually playing a game, and they just get paid for just playing a game that we just used to play around as kids. They just so happen to be good at it. you know
Real good.
I think you just have to put things in perspective, but at the same time, he was a guy that enjoyed playing the game, but he enjoyed challenging himself, so he felt like he needed to be in different environments to grow. But go ahead, you wanted me to stop there and just saying, just how can we apply that to life or, just regular life?
Well, yeah, I mean, aside from the game itself, like you said, just changing environments, like you bring on a whole new set of challenges. Aside from his game, mind you, he's changing schools and stuff like that. You gotta talk to new people. You gotta deal with new administration at the school. You know what I'm saying? You gotta figure out. And mind you, he probably had like coaches and stuff like that, and his parents very involved to
Mhm.
help that transition. But just as a young dude, you're gonna grow from that regardless because you're dealing with so many people in such a, you get what I'm saying, in such a quick succession. You get the chance to get exposed to a lot of different stories and stuff like that. You gain perspective. So just even that, no, that's great for sure. Aside from the basketball standpoint of it.
Right, 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 right. And just saying that, and then we are talking about ego. So what makes it okay, since we're just gonna use sports just to give a perspective, okay for people to get upset, because he went from, and I know we didn't get into that. I know eventually they're gonna get into that conversation. He went from, I think they're gonna talk about it, from OKC to, Golden State, and
Hmm.
people were like calling him a traitor, or because they knew they were stacked and he was gonna win.
Hmm.
Isn't that the reason you play the
Yeah.
game? It's a
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. He
Who
gets into
plays
it later.
games to lose?
Yeah, he gets into it later, and he was like, the strategy just makes too much sense. Like he would be the perfect fit, definitely. And you go there. He was scouting them damn near, But I think what made it tougher was because they had beat them, I guess, that year. And yeah, they do get
Right.
into it later in the video, so they
But they
talk
are
about
playing a
it.
game, right? I just want people to understand. Check your
Mm.
ego. They are just playing the game. So meaning
Check your ego
he
as a
can make the
fan.
best me- he can make the best decision for him so he can maximize his time while playing the game.
Mm.
So who else wouldn't do it? You know what I'm saying? So, and I remember, now I'm starting to remember getting bits and pieces of it, just like what he said about changing the environment. And it's not to knock Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is an amazing player. He just felt like, okay, they played a different style of basketball, and I
Hmm.
can grow my game. I can evolve some more. I can play
Oh
with
yeah,
different,
he he
shooters
jumping. That's
everywhere.
that's
You know what
exactly
I'm
what he
saying?
said. He said I think he said something like that. Like his game had hit a ceiling and he wasn't growing anymore. Something like that. Definitely. So from
And
the same thing. So it seems like that's consistent throughout his career. I guess if you want to point to anything else, him wanting to grow his game and get to somewhere. And if you see the level of guys that he's playing with, like he's continuously, you get what I'm saying. He's on a team with Steph, who's like one of the greatest shooters, and now he's on a team with just two guys
Kyrie,
that are just
James.
ridiculous, you know?
James again, 2
Yeah,
times. This is the second time
yeah,
you play with
definitely.
James. And I mean, you can't like for me, honestly, and I know it's just like the whole rapper debate, it's irrelevant. It's just whatever to you, you know what I'm saying? But to
Yeah, I
me,
was gonna
watching the
say.
game, man, he's probably one of the best guys. I enjoy like watching him play the game. It's like nothing. He's tall. He can dribble. He can shoot. Like, how do you stop him? You know what I mean?
Mm,
You
it
can't. You
seems
just
like you
hope he has a
can't.
bad game.
Yeah, you gotta exactly hope he has a bad game. Try to score more points than he can.
And that's almost nearly impossible if he has
Yeah,
the ball in his
exactly.
hands like all the time. Like, but he passes the ball. And but my thing is, if I'm on a team with him, I wouldn't even want to shoot the ball. I don't care. Like, I mean, and
You're gonna
and you
defer to
can
the
even
man.
see it even with Steph and Clay, because those guys are man, those guys are legends and gonna be Hall of Famers too.
Hmm.
And they
Hmm.
would defer to him at times too. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I mean, you is my thing is just a game. You know what I mean? It's not that serious. They just get I think the fact that people attach to it is because they know how much these guys get paid and they forget like this is just a game. Meaning like if he makes a decision to play for another team, it shouldn't stop or bother you or change your life.
I think people like to be upset about stuff. So much marketing and stuff like that around the team. I think we talked about that before too. Just the way, like you said, fanatic. You know, is bred for you to be so about your team. You know, to be so
Yeah.
like have it actually impact your life in that way, or at least for you to feel like it's enough to, I don't know, rage at somebody on Twitter or something like that. That's probably what they're doing with KD.
So does that have something to do with their ego as well? Because they feel like they're a fan fanatic. And I'm just saying, I'm just using the example, Oklahoma City Thunder fan.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Does that have something to do like with attaching that label to you? Does that have something to do with their ego? Because they feel like, okay, I have ownership. I am part of this community. This is my team.
Mm. I was thinking too, just getting at kind of what you're talking about with like Steph and Clay deferring and their egos as well, almost like knowing your role. And mind you, it's a
Right.
lot easier when you have a team to be a part of, but just as like people from the standpoint of your skills and stuff like that, like not trying to overstep your boundaries per
Mm-hmm.
se, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a big part of ego too, because you want to be able to do everything, but you also have to understand what's within the realm of your capability and what
Ah.
is suited for you.
Mm. So let's say how we can, correlate that or connect that to life, structure, family, you know. So
Mm.
tell me about that. So what's the connection that you see from what you just said, if you can catch it,
Mhm.
about working together, putting your ego to the side, knowing what skills you have or what skills you possess.
I don't know what you're trying to get at. Just you said with family, like the
Family,
connection
yes.
to.
Like family structure.
I mean, I think cultures differ, but in a household, you have certain roles, I guess, to a certain degree. I mean, obviously
Mhm.
you do. Everybody's household is different. Some people are dysfunctional, but a lot of people are dysfunctional nowadays. But I would say, I don't know. You kind of pick. Maybe you choose something that's going to, like the way you go about the things that you do should have like a collective benefit, not just for yourself. I know I'm not 100% at what you're trying to get at.
All right. So, well, my mindset is as far as family structure, and you said too. You only work with the hands that you're dealt, but
Hmm.
everybody has their role, and having everybody in their specific roles helps the team structure. Meaning, like if everybody knows their role, you know what I
Hmm.
mean. So we may have, just say for instance, No, let's not. Let me scratch that. We're not even gonna touch that. I'm gonna leave that alone. But we're gonna play the video some more. Let me go ahead and play the rest of the video.
All right. The family, yeah, I was gonna say, because then we were probably gonna get into a whole
Yeah, we was
rabbit
gonna.
hole of family for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We're gonna, and I don't want to change that, and because we're talking about ego, and we can talk about something like that another time.
Yeah.
Let me switch it up.
There's no sound right now. You hear me? Can you hear me? I can't hear it. Where's my phone? I can't hear it. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I just heard you. Hold on, I have to put this
Okay, you couldn't hear me before.
out. I hear you now.
Oh yeah, I was getting no sound just now. So you might have just I don't know if you switched it to
Oh, okay, okay,
probably
okay,
switched the input to you for you, but not for me.
Oh, it's a waste of money. Your friends and family.
I always wanted to be a point guard and shooting guard. I was just growing so fast. So some coaches did just stick me underneath the basket. But if I get a rebound, I go coast to coast. You know what I'm saying? If I shoot a jump shot here and there, so I was showing flashes, but it wasn't like this. You know what I'm saying? I developed this over time. I remember reading a statement where you said, "I'm
You
tired
can
of being
hear it,
number
right?
two. I was the number two pick.
Yeah.
I was the number two player in the country." Where was that coming from? Like, and why did you feel that? Like, yeah, because we had just lost in the finals, and I felt like we was right there every game, and people was like, "Man, good job, man. Y'all did great. Like, you guys are young. Y'all be right back." And I was like, "I don't care about that. I wanted to win that series, and I want to win the championship." And that's where that came from. I was just people wanted me to accept being second so much. That was never my mentality ever. Always to win the game, and I appreciated people like respecting my game, but I was like, I wanted more for myself. And at that point, that's how I was feeling. First 9 years in OKC, and then you decide that you're leaving OKC, and you ultimately decide to come to the Warriors, knowing that the scrutiny would be there, knowing that everybody would say the Warriors were this great team, but you still ultimately made the decision. Why was that? Was that driven by, I don't give a fuck what y'all think, this is good for me? Or was that just, was it strictly just a basketball decision? It was a basketball decision, but I knocked down the not giving a fuck ladder with that too. You know what I'm saying? It kind of knocked down two birds with one stone with that. But it was mainly, I felt like I was the absolute perfect fit with what you guys were doing on both ends of the ball. And I knew my game had reached a point where I needed to really see what that looked like. And I thought that was just a no-brainer. I would do that shit a million times. And again, I didn't second guess at all. And I knew that's what I wanted to do when I was going into these meetings. But I really just had to confirm, go through the process. But I knew from watching the games, just looking at interviews, just seeing everything that y'all about, Like that's the way I want to play, and that's the way I need to go to, continue to keep getting better as a player. So once I tunnel vision on that, I knew everything would come afterwards, and it was just me going through that experience and see how I was going to deal with it. And shit, it went perfect. You didn't do 3 years there, 2 championships, would have been three had you not got hurt easily. But in my opinion, after year two, you were over it. You were done with it, and you were on to the next thing. But we had the opportunity to three-peat. And in my mind, what brought you back to Golden State for year three was just the opportunity to three-peat. But it didn't feel right for you no more. Am I right, wrong? That's interesting because a lot of people, that's just a talk around me the last 2 years, and I get what people are saying because before I got to Golden State, I was just happy-go-lucky, like just bright-eyed to the experience, not knowing what was ahead. By the first year, I knew exactly what we needed to do in order for us to win. Every night, I knew what my role was to the team. Teams before, I didn't quite know what my role was every night. Did I have to be the scorer? Did I have to be the facilitator? Did I have to get other guys involved? Did I have to make threes? I knew exactly what my role was, and I locked on it with so much focus and determination to not fuck around every day. You've seen it from workouts to practices, shoot arounds, film. I was super locked in, and it made people on the outside look at me like, hold on, is he enjoying this? When I
All right. Yeah, I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So he said, "Wow, I find that interesting. What he said though about being on other teams and you know what I mean and not knowing his role. What do you think about that?
Hmm. Being on other teams and not knowing his role
Yeah,
in
like just like he was on the OKC team,
right.
and they made it to the finals against Miami, and he didn't know his role. Like meaning they were just playing. Like he didn't know, and this is one of the greatest players in the world. And I just want to say like because this has more to do with I say mindset than ego.
Okay.
That he like we mentioned before, he wants to be the best. That's just his
Right.
mindset. He wants to be the best player. And being that, he didn't know what to do every night, he was like, okay, I'm gonna just go out there and just play my best at whatever. But when he got to Golden State, he knew specifically this is my role. And he was like,
This is
he was
interesting.
locked in, and people were like,
Uh-huh.
"Man, this is somebody else," And it was just that what we discussed that growth. He felt like, okay, if I go here, I don't have to be Kevin Durant in OKC where I have to do everything. I can be just this guy and play this role and maximize, my skill playing this role. That's him evolving his game. That's him
Right.
transitioning that ego. That's him putting his ego aside from
Right.
having to be, from being an MVP guy, in the MVP, voting every year
Right.
to playing with another
To playing
MVP.
within a role. Yeah. Also, yeah, with another MVP as well as having to fill a role on that team instead of just being. Well, I mean, he was the guy, but the way their system worked, there was like it was more specific where you need to be doing what you need to do, type stuff like that. And also from the
Mhm.
standpoint of mindset and ego as well. At the beginning of the part that we just talked about, he talked about how he was tired of feeling second, like
Mm,
tired of people wanting him to accept being second. And
right.
something that I was thinking about and I wanted to ask you as well,
Go
do
ahead.
you think a lot of times when people succeed at something there's like a fuel to a degree, like almost like you create an enemy in your own head, and I feel like that has a little bit to do with ego because like you wanna fight against something. Do you think it's better when people do that, like because it's not going to be basketball for everybody, but you can be the greatest at whatever it is that you're doing? So do you feel like people are more inclined to succeed when you kind of create this enemy in your head? Oh, such and such wants me to be number two, I'm trying to be number one. You get what I'm saying? Is that better, or you get what I'm trying to say? Like, do you have natural things that would motivate you instead, or is it better to kind of create that, that imaginary thing that's pushing your ego instead?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's always up to the individual. I don't think is a right or a wrong answer. But for me, because like you're competing, it's a competition, so it all depends on what you're trying to do, the application. What can I apply that to? And in
Mm-hmm.
sports, yeah, you can apply that because you have people, they rank people, so you can
Mm-hmm.
they just like what he said, I don't want to be second. I'm tired of people,
Right.
so it's something that you can shoot for, and it's like bulletin board material. You know what I mean? So like just say for instance, I think Chad Johnson would every week he would have like a list of all of the corners in the league. And I think this was at the time where he wasn't like a big time guy. So he would go
Right.
after guys and he would circle them and the media would come in. And that was his way of self motivating himself.
Right.
So for some people it works, because you're not necessarily attacking anybody. It's not like he's like, okay, I'm not I'm better than LeBron James or
Right.
whatever the case may be. He's not even saying that. He said I'm tired of people saying I'm number 2, or I'm tired of coming in number 2, or not winning the championship, or not finishing. My goal is to be first. You know what I mean? So it gives you, I believe, my perspective, it gives you fuel. Like those guys, as far as like off season, they have something
Mm-hmm.
to think about. And it's like sometimes like what they got into as well. Like he said, like the first year he was like hungry. That second year, he wanted, the second peak. The third year, he was like more on a cruise control. It's like you get to the top of the mountain, and then you're like,
Right.
okay, what's next?
And
You
he
know what I
already
mean?
knew
So
he was done. Yep.
so
Yep.
that's the kind of like the other side is the good side, and this is like the bad side of it. Like when you create that, because once you conquer it and you get there to the mountaintop, then you're like, okay,
Mm.
then what are you gonna use for fuel now?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's all on the individual, and I think he learned, which all those guys learn at a certain point. It's like, okay, what am I chasing? You know what I mean? And after a while, they just like, I think, I don't know. I can't say a guy like Kyrie Irving or certain guys, whatever, because they take the game serious. They play it more as a game, like it's just fun to them. It's
Definitely.
not
But you can
as
tell, yeah, so,
serious.
certain guys are more competitive, or like they that like you said, that competition is something that they're able to use as fuel. So not everybody is as competitive in that same way. There's
Right,
a
because a
difference
lot of
between
those
competing with
guys,
yourself.
honestly, not gonna always get to the mountaintop. They're not gonna get to the
Mm-hmm.
status of a Kevin Durant or LeBron James, because that's what is Kevin Durant, LeBron, Steph. Those guys are like on their own little, they're in their own
Right.
world. You know what
Yeah,
I
they're
mean?
in a
Compared.
different category.
Right. So those guys, I believe, have to find other things to kind of fuel them. Because once they get there, it's kind of hard to get there again and again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
Like what LeBron is doing, and so it's a certain type of mindset that you got to have, and as you can see, you know, it can help. It can help you, but let's see some more of the video.
Dive into something like that with that level of focus, I don't want to be anywhere else in life. That's the most enjoyable experience I ever had after that first one. If that was the case, I wouldn't have played 78 games that year. I would have just waited to the end of the season and try to play in the playoffs. I played every game. I went hard every day. I cared about every matchup, no matter who was on the floor. Just my look and feel is like energetic or opening as it was before. And I like that. I like that I was closed off and focused on my work. I just maybe should have communicated that with more people who were interested in knowing what I was going through. But I had the most fun locking in and completing the task. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew we were going to win every night. And it's rare to get to that point as an NBA player. Yeah. Knowing you're going to win every night. So I just try to focus in and stay in the moment more than anything. And for my own personal sanity, I've been getting my ass kicked ever since you left. So just for my own personal sanity, how much did our argument against the Clippers drive you to ultimately lead the Warriors? It wasn't the argument. It was the way that everybody, Steve, be who we say we are. Family first. Communication is key. We didn't show that, and that's what rubbed me the wrong way more than anything. When we landed back from LA, I sat in the that can make this right. It's me and Kay, and that wow, that was not the.
I know they about to run an ad. I was gonna say, so it seems like there that common thread between guys
Mm-hmm.
who are at the
You
top of
say
that level, at least in athletics, is people that are kind of fueled by that competition. They definitely usually strive in those kind of situations where you have to work on your game to get better. You gotta do what you gotta do. They
Mm-hmm.
definitely that competition seems to be a key aspect in a lot of the like top of the top guys. Definitely, they always seem to talk about it. They always kind of have that little bit of like insaneness where you just that's what you want to be doing, locking in so you can get to the next level, and that's all they
Yeah.
want to do.
And yeah, that's good. And we're gonna have to kind of wrap this up. My camera is the battery is dying. I didn't
Right.
charge it all the way up.
Yeah. I see we're
But
coming in on
to
about an
but
hour
the
pushing them.
to say all right, so to say what you were saying about ego, like my whole thing with ego is that you just cannot get attached. You can't get attached to a certain thing, like just say being an athlete, being a football player, you can't get attached because at some point in life you're gonna have to transition into something else, into another role, or into anything. Life is
Hmm.
about oh man, oh on it.
It just did it. Yeah,
My
you froze
yes,
up.
yes. Hold on, I don't. I think I can flip the camera.
Mm.
Shoot. Oh man, you can hear me though, right?
Nah, yeah, I can definitely still hear you.
Okay, okay. We can wrap it up though.
It's all right, man. This is a trial run. We got some things to
Yeah,
to
but
go back to.
in life you will transition, you know what I mean? So it's
Hmm.
important to understand that certain things within yourself, your personality, you might have to kind of let go of. And I think that's the whole thing of what they say of not holding on to your ego is those thoughts and that personality or that person that you think you are, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That you hold on to for the rest of your life, and you have to learn and transition into somebody else. That's my whole thing. That's how I kind of look at ego. Like you can't hold on to Reshad that was, 15 years old. You can't hold on to that same thought process. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Because you're not 15 anymore. You know
right.
what I mean? So that's how I kind of connected to life. But go ahead.
No, I was just listening to what you're saying, and on that topic of
Mhm.
competition,
Mhm.
just maybe I'm thinking about it like maybe if you want to get yourself to the next level and something like that's a part of it, like you don't want to compare yourself to people because that's not a fulfilling way of going about things, but from an improvement standpoint you have to have a frame of reference, you
Mhm.
know. And so I think that is one thing that I pulled from it as well.
Mhm.
uh, yeah. You're back now too. I can.
You can what?
No, I'm saying you're back now too. I could see you.
Yeah,
So
this is
yeah.
the other this is the camera, the front.
Hmm.
The That's why it's like it's a little darker. It's not like picking up
Right.
the lights the same. You know what I mean? The camera's not bad on the laptop though. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm running my laptop camera right now.
But yeah, man, we definitely gonna have to pick it up again. Like I said, I want to see how it come out, and then we can wrap again and talk about another topic. And I definitely want to see how this comes out first, and then we can
Right.
definitely kind of get it. I understand how to work the audio stuff now, and we can do stuff like this,
Hmm.
and move this around. And
It
I don't,
changes
I
the
don't think
camera and
I,
stuff too.
I
I
don't think you
realize.
could do that on the Zoom. The Zoom wasn't. That wasn't
No,
a
yeah,
thing.
not to the same way. You might be able to switch back and forth from one person to another. I think that's it.
All right. So anything else that you want to say or share about ego?
Um, I think I'm the way I'm thinking about it, like I was saying before, just from the standpoint of having confidence. I think, like you said, you don't want to be stuck to whatever it is that you identify yourself with, but at the end of the day, having like a healthy, ego. Like you don't want to identify with it too much, but having a healthy amount of ego, like I said, to give you that confidence. Like he as a guy like Kevin Durant, like you know where your capabilities are, so you can rest on that,
Right.
and that's that's how you move forward.
Yeah.
So and that gives him confidence. Obviously, he's a great player, so
Yeah.
it's easy to be confident, right? But just from that
Yeah.
same standpoint, he had to change his environment and stuff like that to realize, okay, I'm doing what I need to do to improve my game and get me
Mhm.
there. And so that part of his ego played into him being able to be so great. Also, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. I totally agree. And my like I said, my thought process with confidence is it's the repetition. You know what I mean? And his ego, just like you said, is his willingness to not stop. Like, okay, I'm gonna continue to do this. I'm going to, shoot 1,000 shots a day until I make 800 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like his ego did drive him to, be who he is. You know what I mean? Because he created those goals for himself and he went at it and having that ego is like kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna stop until I get it. I'm not gonna stop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop. And that was his part of his mindset. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? But confidence always comes through repetition. You know what I mean? Meaning I can shoot 1,000,000 shots, but I'm not gonna be confident if it never go in. You know what I'm saying? I can keep shooting 1,000,000 shots, and I'm gonna be confident that the next one not gonna go in. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So it's confidence is okay. I'm making my shot. Okay, I'm changing my form. Okay, it feels good this way. Okay, so now I'm confident that I can continue to shoot this way. I built this skill. You know what I mean? Because I've repeated this skill over and over. Now I'm starting to believe in myself. And a lot of people, when it comes to, I guess, that word ego, kind of lose themselves because they kind of take themselves out the game before they even play the game. Meaning Kevin Durant didn't become Kevin Durant overnight. You can't just you're not just gonna be the best at anything unless you're willing to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what I take from if you watch the whole thing, or just understand how athletes work. You know what I mean? You have to be willing to put in the work. That's how you gain confidence. And that's with any skill. Any skill. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and we were, talking. I sent you, I know I sent you the link to the website of the fragrance thing. And sometimes I
Yes.
get on myself, I'm like, man, I should be making more money. I should be, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, dude, you only been doing this for a couple years. And you really just started really being serious with it. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So, but just like you said, I have in my because of my mindset of the way I carry myself is I need to figure this out. So my ego is what's driving me to continue to do this and try to figure it out. Because my goal is to be the best, whatever that is, whatever metric, whatever I can figure out, whatever that is. I have
Mm-hmm.
certain goals. You know what I'm saying? But my ego is going to continue to drive me because I always have that mindset. Okay, I'm transitioning to learning something new. I'm gonna have roadblocks, meaning I'm not gonna be as good as this as I am coaching offensive line. You know what I mean? That's like second nature. I can do that in my sleep. But like I
Right.
told you, I've been doing that since I was 19. You know what I'm saying? So that's that ego part, that ego part of me that know, like, okay, if somebody hit me up, like, and they need a kid, my ego gonna be. I mean, they need to help develop a lineman, no matter what age. My ego is gonna be like, I could do that. You
Easy.
know what I'm saying? My ego might say, "Hey, I could do that," and not don't just go and not have a plan, like not have an idea, like go set up a workout and not have a workout set up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Not set up the workout for the kid and not have an idea of what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? The different type of workouts, the stance that I'm gonna have them do, the different like the pass set, the run block.
Right.
Having him squat coming from the knee. Like different evaluations. So I know, okay, the next time I train this kid, I'm gonna have a plan. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because the ego would be like, man, I can just do this. But
Right.
sometimes you gotta reel yourself in.
That's
You
true.
gotta reel yourself in because the ego grows, of course, with confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like you see that shot go in, you feel like, okay, I can be a little lazy this time. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to push, I don't have to jump a little high. No, 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 no. Sometimes you gotta push that ego to the side. You know what I'm saying? In which we mentioned before with Steph and Clay and those guys realize, okay, damn, we have one at the he's 6'9" with it. Yeah,
Right.
I can do it, but he's 6'9" with it. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
can do this. Yeah, I can shoot from the logo, but he's 6'9" with it. He can
Mm-hmm.
take 2 steps and it's a dunk.
And it's yeah, it's
You know
crazy.
what I'm saying? So I'm gonna step to the side and I'm gonna stand by the logo. I'm gonna give him as much space as possible. Because guess what? If they crowd
Mm-hmm.
in on me, bang.
He's right
You know
there.
what I'm saying? They run out on me. I got Clay over here. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like putting that ego to the side, knowing like I don't have to be the man all the time. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And it's like that's how life is, man. And learning how to transition and knowing skills come with time.
And like you
Skills
said,
come with time, and with time that ego grows, but you still got to learn how to reel it in and keep it in check.
right. And like you said too, like even after Kevin Durant, him knowing that okay, his ego telling him, hey, I don't want to be second anymore. I'm not okay with second. He still had to, like he said, he enjoyed locking in and actually doing the work. So he still got to identify the work to because he could have just came out and played the next season and be like, yo, I'm the best regardless. But he still went and started that process to continue getting that work in. Definitely, like you said, just identifying the work first and being able to do that work
Right.
to get your ego and where you actually are to match up.
For sure. For sure. And this is what I would say with people like, everybody else, us regular people, is stop being attached because that's part of ego as well. Don't be attached to something, someone, a team, players, whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just understand that it's a game. And don't let the ego get the best of you because you pay your tickets and this, that,
Mm-hmm.
and the third, that you feel like you have the right to say whatever to these guys. They're just playing the game, man, and they can move
Mm-hmm.
around and maneuver and go to whatever team they want. They can stack whatever team they want.
Right.
That's
Right.
just the game. And
Yep.
and if LeBron running the game right now, he just running the game. He can just stack the chips, and he can get it in his favor at all times.
Yes.
Since I've been
Yes.
watching the game, he is the first player that I know he gets what he wants. He want all the
It's
stars, give it to him. You know what I
it's
mean?
crazy though, cause like the one time in Cleveland, he damn near did it with, and I think Kyrie was on that team, but he was hurt too. So that's that. But he did it with like nothing. It's crazy. So it's warranted at that point. It seems
Yeah,
like you know.
yeah, but like at the same time, it's just a game, man. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, the media is a lot of talking points. You know what I mean? They have to do whatever they have to do to pay their bills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people have to understand it's just entertainment. So check your ego. Check your
Yes.
ego. And little bro,
Exactly.
yeah, let's get out of here, man. Like I said, I
Mm-hmm.
want to see how everything worked with StreamYard, man, and we'll rap again. And like I like to say, we all go through that roller coaster of life. So why not have a guide to elevate your
That's right.
mindset? Jim out.